Sky News, Australia's news channel.
Hello there and welcome. You're watching Fox Sports News. Good to be with you. I'm Jo Healy. A check of the headlines for you now. Incentivised, trying to overcome decades of history to win the race that stops the nation. Hear those details for you shortly, but well, it is all systems go for the Melbourne Cup, with Incentivised to start as short price favourite. However, we've been warned that there are a couple of international entries out to spoil the party.
A field of 24 is set to compete for Australia's most prestigious racing prize, but one horse has dominated the build-up.
Obviously Incentivised is
the shortest priced Melbourne Cup favourite since Phar Lap will jump from barrier 16, and rivals are searching for a weakness.
He's got to carry the penalty of winning the Caulfield Cup and the Turnbull, and Phar Lap was the only horse that's able to do it. So he is going to try and break history.
He's obviously looking the tough one to beat as long as he stays the 2 miles.
Maybe Incentivised, if there's any kink in his armour, maybe it's the 3,200 metres.
The main challenges to Incentivise could come from overseas. Internationally trained horses may be down on number this year, but the quality remains. Spanish Mission is free to run after a skin irritation cleared and is a proven performer over the distance.
He's a lovely horse. He's a beautiful horse to do anything with for a rider. He's in really good order. He's got lovely action. He feels like he's got good change-up speed as well, which will be really helpful in tomorrow's race.
Last year's winner, Twilight Payment, is aiming to become the first horse to defend a Melbourne Cup since Makybe Diva.
It's going to be important in the early stages to really hold our position from barrier 2 and make sure that we get into the best possible position that suits him.
As international borders open, Twilight Payment's trainer, Joseph O'Brien, has made a late dash to Melbourne to attend the race. He'll be joined at Flemington by a crowd of 10,000 people, with
Well, Danny O'Brien is upstaging Incentivised will be a tough task. O'Brien is taking 5-year-old man Miami Bound to the Cup, but says there's no simple way to plan for Peter Moody's Star Gelding, who's won 3 straight Group 1s.
No, I don't think we've got one. I think he's an exceptional horse. You know, he's won his last 9 starts in a row, and his Caulfield Cup win was outstanding. So he's going to quite rightly go around a short price favourite, and be probably a really good story if he could complete the double. It's been a long time since that happened, and to have a locally bred Australian horse on the knocking on the door to do it would be exciting if he could.
If Miami Bound can upset the field, she'll be the first mare since Makybe Diva to salute in the Cup. O'Brien is hopeful she can reproduce her form from 2019, where the then 3-year-old took out the Oaks and the Wakeful Stakes. That was a memorable year for the O'Brien stable, with Vow and Declare winning the race that stops the nation.
Yeah, it does. It's certainly one that stays with you. The Melbourne Cup is just an altogether different experience from winning any other race. So we're still very, very happy every time we think about 2019. And you also realise just how hard it is to do it. You need a lot to go right to win a Melbourne Cup, and we were very fortunate in 2019, but we'll keep turning up and having another go each year, and hopefully be lucky enough to win again one day.
It is the race that stops the nation, and 10,000 punters will flock to Flemington for the Melbourne Cup. Sports broadcaster Jared Waitley has previewed the race and the significance of fans being trackside.
So it feels like a great event to reopen with because of its iconic status. Around the world, it will look like so Melbourne is slowly reopening, where if you've watched any NFL or any EPL, we're a long lag in this country, and there's a whole other debate around that. So I still think to the rest of the world it will look like, gee, you are slow to come out of this COVID period, whereas here we'll rejoice that there's those on the lawn, and hopefully when the gates crash back there'll be a resounding cheer, and I think it'll be an uplifting cheer. So it's a different race. The veterinary requirements that have been put in place to curb the fatalities that have marred the recent history of the Melbourne Cup, absolutely necessary, but they've had a profound impact on the makeup of the field. It's a return to an older time where a lot of the horses and the trainers in particular are extremely well known rather than there being this mystery dozen who have parachuted in for the race. So it'll be a really interesting cup to live through, I think. But its front line is outstanding. Incentivise, the reincarnation of Might and Power. Spanish Mission brings the best form out of Europe, the Stradivarius form, the defending champion Twilight Payment. So the depth isn't quite as it has been in recent years because of the fewer internationals, but you'll be able to identify with far more horses than we have been for the past 10 or 12 years.